Hey, I wanted to come on here and talk about a couple things. I wanted to talk about the fact that obviously what's going on. If you've been paying attention, there's been stuff going on about that school shooting that happened, I guess in Texas or whatever the case it is. But once again, I was right once again, and I mean it didn't. And what I said didn't come from God. It really at this point you just have to be paying attention to understand about where they want to go with all this. So I'm gonna make this short since I have like almost 30 minutes on my phone. But they're using that shooting to basically crack down on guns in Canada, and I called this before it even happened. In Canada, they basically took away the right to have guns, and I saw a channel where basically a lady was talking about you still have time to get a gun or whatever the case it is. Over here in America, watched a video from a call for an uprising, and he said that these people aren't dumb. They aren't going to outright just come to our houses and take our guns. What they're going to do is, since everything as you've been noticing, if you've been paying attention to like what's been going on and what, or if you're on social media, people are always talking about mental health, and basically they're going to make it to where you need to be qualified mentally, or your mental health needs to be at a certain point where you can buy a gun. And if they deem that your mental health isn't their version of good, you can't buy a gun. And once you start doing that, pretty much nobody can really get a gun. And also, was watching a guy I follow. He's called High Impact Flicks. I forgot his name, but he has another channel called Greasy Monkey Videos. And he was talking about how basically they're passing bills, they're passing laws, legislations, all this other stuff about basically owning a gun. And over in New York, there was a case where I don't know if they took away the guns in New York or what, but this lady, they're sitting over here talking about they're using children as a shield because that's what all evil people do. That's why they have it in the with the Baphomet statue of him of that demon with children, because they always hide behind children even though they want to eat children. But point is, pertaining to this, that's my dryer in the background. But pertaining to this, saw a video from Greasy Monkey Videos of basically him showing how a woman had no gun. I guess they can't get guns in New York or whatever the case it is. I don't know. A lady was just walking into a store, wasn't aware of her surroundings. She was just walking into a store, and this dude just comes up behind her and stabs her and just stabs her either in the back or either in the back or in the head, and she ended up dying or she's severely injured. But these people are sitting over here saying that they have your best interest, even though 2 years ago during quarantine, when this stuff was happening, Canada and America were letting out high level criminals out of jail. And that's the reason why the police stuff with the police was going on. People were saying defund the police and all this other stuff. It's not something to it's not something hard to comprehend when you've been paying attention. Basically, if another pandemic happens, and basically they've been saying stuff about how monkeypox has a threat level, and how the people in charge, I don't even know if I can even say these people, the CDC, but the people in charge are now saying that for monkeypox, now they want you to sit here and wear a mask, even though we just got done with this stuff. Like, how can you wear how does wearing a mask prevent you from monkeypox? That makes no sense at all whatsoever. They even tell you on the back of a box that it doesn't even work. But anyway, but outside of that, basically, and also in New York, and Greasy Monkey Videos said that he said that basically in New York they've made it illegal to where you can't buy mace, a baton, which is a baton is used by police, and you can't use pepper spray. The two things that are useful out of that are mace and pepper spray. I have pepper spray. If they make it, if these people are making it illegal for you to protect yourself through mace and pepper spray, which through physical, that's one of the things that a baton, something, somebody can grab that out of your hand, but if it's mace or pepper spray, it can severely affect them. If it's illegal to do that, how can you sit here and say that you're for my best interest when the only people in power are the military and the police? In which case, I don't advocate being anti-police, but at this point, you should absolutely be, I wouldn't say anti-everything, but you should be anti-government, you should be anti-police, you should be anti-military, and all these people that are, this is actually sort of an apocalyptic thing. All these people that are set here to protect us are going to kill us. The police are going to kill us. They have laws, bills, legislations, in which case, if the government or our local authorities deem you as a threat and you've done nothing wrong, they can just barge in your house and can just outright kill you. I remember listening to a guy I follow, a young Ripper 5'9", Eric D. July, and he was saying how the police came to his house and they wanted him to give away his guns, and he said that I'm not doing that, and the police gunned them down. Not making it up. You can look at this stuff up. This ain't some propaganda stuff. This is real, and this goes all the way back to slavery, the 60s with black people, all this other stuff. The police are not good. It essentially are. They call it status, but they support the government. Anything the government says, the police will do. That's why in New York, they were arresting even children for not having a medical passport because they weren't juiced up. There's a difference between legality and morality. Obviously, just because something's legal doesn't make it right. So there you go. In which case, people are falling for it. Obviously, people that are juiced up, that are medicated, obviously they're going to support that because they're no longer a person. They're going to support whatever the government is telling them. But if it ain't that, they're just dumb. In which case, people are lost on that. But then in terms of the whole gun situation, because I'm gonna talk about something else in a minute. What all these anti-gun activists are sitting over here saying that guns are a problem. Guns aren't a problem. People are a problem. And the only way to stop violence, and a lot of people, this is going to be hard for a lot of people for what I'm about to say, even though this is biblical. The only way for violence on this earth to stop is if God kills all of us. All of us, just wipes the planet out, blows it up, everything. Genocide. In which case, if you've read the Bible, you know that that's actually a thing. God actually does believe in that because it's actually getting to a point to where sin is so, and like pedophilia. I talked about pedophilia in a video that I made that was an hour long. This stuff is demonic, and this stuff cannot be allowed to exist. When pedophilia is legal, when criminals, when everything is put upside down and evil is being glorified to a point that the devil himself doesn't need to come out. God has to blow up the world, literally. And so there's that. And what else is there? Just a lot of stuff. And so that. And these people are always bringing up AK-47s and all this other stuff when literally I grew up in the hood. Like, the only guns that are really actively a threat in killing people are handguns, in which case they're trying to get their hands on that because they don't want you armed to defend yourself. Because the world that they want, they talk about world peace, but that's double speak for basically hell on earth, where the demons are roaming around and are roaming free, foul, and everything while you're dead. But what else was there? And then these are the same people that are sitting over here telling you that abortion and gun rights are the same thing. No, they aren't. Even though I don't really care for abortion, I don't really care about that topic. I don't care. I mainly care about, how fetuses are used are put in food and beverages and makeup and all that other stuff. But pretty much I don't care about somebody's body. I don't care. But another thing is that they will always sit here and say that abortion and gun rights are the same thing when it's not. There's a difference between taking a life with a fetus, and I'm not going to sit here shun anybody if somebody's had an abortion. I don't care. There's a difference between an abortion and a gun. A gun is where you defend your life. And then these people will still sit here and make the argument and say that, oh, well, guns do the same thing. I'm like, no, I'm just like, you're dumb as I don't know what. And that's completely false. These are the same people. I remember I was on Instagram, and these anti-gun activists, or these people that low-key support communism and are for communism and the New World Order, said that guns have killed more people in the past 50 years than anything else. In which case, if you look, that's a bold statement, and that's actually completely false. Considering if you go back 50 years from 2022, it was the year 1972. And regardless, as long as this country has been around, I wouldn't say it has been around. If you just look up World War One and World War Two, both world wars combined have killed almost 100 million people. In which case, to sit there and to just slap them in the face with their own logic, basically, it killed 100 million people. War is effective, obviously. But guess what? It took somebody with a good gun, our troops, to stop somebody with a bad gun, Nazis. So there you go. I'm going to end it on that conversation. But I also want to sit here and tell you that zombies are coming. I was praying actually a couple days ago. Zombies are coming. And whenever this happens, want to sit here and say that whenever this stuff happens, I've talked about how basically God is going to. I actually had a dream. I can actually sit here and say this, that I had a dream where I saw Jesus, and I don't know what I was writing on, but I was with Jesus, and basically he saved me from a zombie apocalypse. And I talked about how basically God gave me the word, and somebody I talked to on the phone confirmed this, about basically how when this stuff happens, I will be in the woods. In which case, don't know what it is about the woods or whatever the case it is, but God told me a long time ago in quarantine 2 years ago that you will be in the fire, but you will be untouched. So anybody that sits here and tells you and tries to make you panic due to the fact of a zombie apocalypse and for you to panic and all these other things, and I've talked about my situation and all this other stuff, quit listening to those people. Because what they're doing is they're putting fear in your mind, and they're trying to make you doubt God. And I've talked about the acronym fear over God, all this other stuff that's in my previous videos. But God will save you. So basically, like, let me emphasize on this. I talked about how I stayed in my house. When my mom turns, God told me specifically that he's literally going to teleport me to the woods. Or at that point, he has to do the shift change. He's going to teleport me to the woods, and I'm going to be somewhere else. That's why he told me to pack my stuff. And teleportation is mentioned in the Bible twice. With Jesus, it was like when Jesus was on a boat, I think. I totally forgot that, or I'm probably butchering that. And then Philip from Munich, where basically Philip was taken from one place to the other. So there you go. But people will still sit here and tell you to panic and do all these things and all this other stuff. Quit listening to these people. And quit listening to these people. Go to God. Don't even listen to me or any of these people. Go to God and listen to Jesus, because God, I'm putting you in the right direction. God will save you. So let's say I talked about me being in my house. I'll be teleported when my mom turns. Let's say you're out and about and you're in your car. God's going to teleport you. What about God is going to teleport you out of your car, and that's it. That's it pretty much. And wherever he takes you, have no idea that's between you and God, and I pretty much don't even care, because at that point, I'm going to be focused on myself. Not just that, but also, let's say you're in a crowd, you're walking, or whatever the case it is, or you're at a concert and people just randomly start turning into zombies. Once again, God is going to take you and teleport you somewhere, and he's not going to let anything bad happen to you. Yeah, anyway, I want to say something else. But anyway, so zombies are coming. I got to do another video on this whole zombie thing, but pretty much, they've been experimenting on this stuff for years, and it's in the movies, video games, etc., all this other stuff. But I'll do a separate video for that, because I'm running out of time on my video. But that also, it has occurred to me that basically all these people that are juiced up, I'm gonna go with that word, juiced up. These people are going to start discovering that they have AIDS. It actually occurred in my dream, actually either today or a couple days ago, that people are going to start discovering that they have AIDS, and I have no idea where that's going to go or whatever the case it is. But this is why I've been telling people, telling folks that even if you know somebody, it's different if you stay in a house with somebody. But I talk about how if you do know somebody that is juiced up, treat it how you would treat somebody with AIDS. I'm not going to sit here, talk about this stuff. I've been saying this stuff. I'm like repeating myself, but basically don't exchange bodily fluids. Don't touch them if they're sweating, etc. All this other stuff, and you'll be fine. And in terms of having sex with these people, stay away from these people. And if they lie about it, I'm not going to sit here and talk about if they lied to you if you have sex with them, because obviously if you don't believe in God, you're screwed. But basically, if you have the seal of God and you didn't know, basically you're spared. But if you continue to sleep with them, then you're screwed, because that's you accepting the mark of the beast, Obama's trademark. But there's that. And I also want to sit here and talk about this whole multiverse thing, where I made a video originally, and this is actually last year or 2 years ago, where I said that basically if you run into yourself in another dimension, that basically a ripple effect happens, and it's like an explosion happens, and basically I said it resets itself. And basically, woe and behold, I'm right once again. I'm sort of actually getting tired of being right. But woe and behold, so when God showed me that in the Umbrella Academy, I'm actually put the link in in my comment. But basically, in the Umbrella Academy, when they go to an alternate dimension, and you gotta watch season 2 to understand season 3. But when they go there, they're not in their dimension. Obviously, somebody that died in their dimension is alive, but they're pretty much a jerk. And basically, their doppelgangers are people that have the same powers as them, or they're better, and they're trained better. And their dad, who is an alien in the comics, is alive. This is the stuff I've been talking about, God bringing people from different dimensions into this world and all this other stuff. But point is, somewhere in that trailer, they talk about an effect that happens, that as long as the more they stay there, their dimension starts to basically break down. And there's a fancy scientific name for it that's said in the trailer. But that's a real thing. And woe and behold, and not only that, but there's sort of like an explosion that happens that basically affects the dimension, which is, I guess, a sign that it's starting to break down. And woe and behold, everything that I've said in a video I mentioned is there. It is there. And I called it years ago. And this stuff, it blew me away. And the fact that is there absolutely baffles me. And there's actually another show. And another thing that with this whole multiverse shift change thing, I've talked about how these movies are coming back nonstop. But guess what? There's Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. There's that movie called Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, whatever it's called. That talks about it. Then there's the Umbrella Academy, which is talking about going into another dimension, doppelgangers, all this other stuff. And then what else was there? Then there's Stranger Things, basically about stuff coming in from the other side. And then woe and behold, the final season for this show comes out. And this show is called Lock and Key. And if you haven't watched Lock and Key on Netflix, you probably wouldn't understand, but it's basically about the last season that ended on basically how the keys bring in these demonic entities from the other side. And that's coming out. And guess what month it's coming out? It's coming out in August. And have no idea what's going to be happening in August, but something is happening. Something's going to happen, because I found out one of my coworkers, she went to Las Vegas, and the gas prices there, it's almost $9. So it's between $7 to $8. Gas over here in Georgia is between $4 to $5. And by that time, I have no idea what's going to happen. But also, since I ended on this, because I wanted to get this stuff out the way, that's really pretty much it. I also have to make a TikTok on basically how I recently discovered how a almost 4,000 year old city, it's 3,400 years old, so that's almost 4,000 years old, ancient civilization city just rose up from the ground, and I think it's by the Tigris River. And archaeologists are baffled in shock and awe that it randomly appeared. It don't work like that. And I actually gotta. I'm not gonna read the article. I gotta do a TikTok on this, along with the something about a fairy was discovered, and fairies are demons, actually in mythology. The bones of a fairy was discovered. It had blonde hair, and it looks absolutely disgusting. But this stuff is popping up out of nowhere, and I'm speechless. And pertaining to the 4,000-year-old city, I mentioned in a video about basically God, how God in the Bible, it says that God wants to create heaven on earth, and how basically if you do your research, you will find out that randomly out of nowhere, these new continents are forming out of nowhere, but gradually and slowly, and then lo and behold, almost a 4,000-year-old city pops up out of the ocean or wherever it was buried out of nowhere. And archaeologists keep finding this stuff that randomly shouldn't even exist. Well, I wouldn't say shouldn't exist, but should have been destroyed. But God is showing something. So there's that. And I also found out another thing that actually baffled me was the fact that if you're a comic book fan, about Apocalypse in DC Comics, where Darkseid stays, is the planet that basically is just type in Apocalypse Darkseid DC Comics and look up his planet. And I actually forgot the name of the planet, but that planet in real life is real. It's real. It is real. It is down to the T. It is real. And it's NASA recently discovered this planet, and it's basically it's called the Hail Planet, where the planet looks like fire and brimstone. And I guess, mother of God, I guess the water is made of lava. And I know, I'm paraphrasing that, but I gotta do a TikTok on that. But it's called the Hail Planet. Look up the Hail Planet on Google Images and look, and it's a name. And lo and behold, they found this stuff. And then there's also the fact of the inner earth thing, which has been around for years. My friend's been telling me about that. But the fact that officially a sinkhole was discovered in China, about, I guess people talk about how in the Bible it talked about how the trees were ginormous and huge, how in the inner earth, how basically that's the same thing. They even had that in Godzilla, King Kong versus Godzilla. That's a real thing. And so lo and behold, all this stuff is happening, and people are in for a rude awakening. So I want to come on here and sit here and talk about this stuff, and also the fact that yeah, and I got to talk about the whole superpower thing. But I can say about that whole superpower thing, since what was it, a couple of days ago, the stuff that just comes after my soul just wants to kill me is ridiculous. I see stuff the size of mountains that are either dragons or serpents. Um, and what was it? It was a dragon, this demonic dragon. And there's like a sinkhole in New York City or whatever the case it was. And I'm falling from a building in my dream, screaming for help. And then randomly, this watery serpent, it was a dragon, just goes in a circle and literally just comes up to my face and tries to eat me. And I literally basically turn into like a Dragon Ball Z character. That's like the second time that's happened. And basically I do like this cosmic, it's something I've seen from like an anime. It's like this character called Pain in Naruto. He has this move called the Almighty Push, where where energy just comes out of his hand, and basically the serpent, literally the dragon, basically tried to devour my soul and kill me, but I had superpowers, and I'm like 5'6", 5'7", and but my height was different and everything, and basically I pushed it back and I ended up killing it. And that's actually the second time I've actually done that. Because the first time I turned into, like, once again, a Dragon Ball Z character, and there's like a lady and her kid, and it was this watery serpent that came from out of the ocean, tried to kill me, and I was in the air, and I did a Masenko. It's called the Masenko Ha. It's a Dragon Ball Z move. You can actually just look that up. And I incinerated it. I killed it, and there was blood and bones everywhere and everything. And this stuff is real. In terms of that whole superpower stuff, like when God gives us these abilities and all this other stuff, this stuff literally can level a whole entire city. If you watch Dragon Ball Z, it can literally Dragon Ball Z is to the point where like some of the abilities can literally destroy the planet. I know because I've been playing this stuff since in the 2000s when I was a kid. But yeah, so these abilities are enough to topple giants, and they just get more sophisticated and advanced the more God trains you, and the more righteous you get, and the more you level up and stuff and whatnot. I'm not going to talk about what I'm going to have, but yeah, but that's one of the things. Enough to topple a giant, basically. Um, that and I hope you got something from this. I wish I could be talking about this longer, but I don't really have the space on my phone, and my phone is already acting weird because my SD card is just whatever. But yeah. And other than that, I got to make another video later on today or tomorrow since I'm off about this stuff. And yeah, I hope you got something from this. And also, another thing is too, I talked about the cartoon dimension, and lo and behold, Disney came out with the whole Chip and Dale movie, which is basically they call it a low quality sequel to Roger Rabbit, and Roger Rabbit is in the Chip and Dale movie, and how humans and cartoons exist. So my point is proven again. But other than that, yeah, I just want to sit here and say that. Hope you got something from this. I gotta make a TikTok later on in the day, or probably after this, really. And yeah, God bless you.